What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. Go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. We do have a more organized system moving into West Texas and New Mexico today. So anywhere from really the Oklahoma Panhandle all the way down into the Rio Grande, Amarillo, Lubbock, Fort Stockton, Midland, Odessa is in the risk to see severe weather today, all the way from hail to wind to tornadoes. So getting into everything for today. Tomorrow should be a weaker risk. Just some scattered thunderstorms here and there taking up a lot of central Texas. So of course we'll go over it, and then getting into the tropics at the end of the show here. We have tropical depression too in the Gulf of Mexico. So watching that little guy slowly try to intensify as it meanders south, and talking about, tropical track and everything. But into today should be the busiest for the next couple of days that we see. So right now in South Texas, we already got 2 tornado watches in effect here, both for very large hail and high winds, as well as, of course, tornadoes. So we do see some severe storms already starting to develop along the New Mexico-Texas state line. These are expected to continue intensifying into severe storms, as well as these cells that you're going to see popping up there just to the west of Fort Stockton. Now, a couple of these could maintain long-track supercell status. Everything up towards Lubbock, Amarillo area is expected to get pretty messy pretty quick. And so watching storm mode here into the coming hours, we'll go over it all. Now up into the Central Plains, a little bit of a different story. We got these remnant pieces of last night's system moving off into the Central Plains, and we'll see more storm development out west of those through Kansas and through Nebraska and parts of Colorado into this afternoon as well. Should be more scattered up that way. Then there's 2. We're spinning away through the Gulf of Mexico. So there it goes, and not expected to form into a hurricane or tropical system anytime soon. We'll take a look at the track here in a second, but the Gulf is still trying to warm up for the summer months and get us what it needs to form, more powerful storms. But still, tropical depression too on the horizon. So this is what we're dealing with our setup right now. 80s, almost pushing 90 in Fort Wayne out east of the Rockies. West of it is where we have this, what was a pretty diffuse trough, making its way through. Now you see this little circle here, and basically what that means is each one of these is where the pressure gets lower and lower, each one of these lines, and that means that low pressure is starting to intensify over the Rocky Mountains. So it's starting to get a little bit stronger, starting to pick up some steam as it pushes eastward, and any of those little wiggles that come off of that low pressure, off of that trough, are fueling our storms through West Texas today. So a little bit of strength picking up on this system into the region through the next 24 hours. Dry line is set up through New Mexico, through Texas. That's where those storms are forming now, right along that dry line, pushing into an area of high humidity. 69-degree dew points in Dallas, Texas, 64 in New Orleans, lots of mid to upper 60s through Texas today. And so we'll see that continuing to fuel some energy through the area, and that'll get us those storms. But looking at the pattern into the next few days here, we have this ridge that's just been sitting over the Ohio Valley for the past few days. That's why it's so hot. If you guys are in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, any of those Ohio Valley states, that ridge has not been pushing out of the way. And into the next few days, this trough weakens again, so kind of back into the same kind of setup that we've been seeing for the past week or so, and that ridge is holding out by noon on Saturday, really not shifting much by Sunday, still seeing the same old setup. Summertime, getting hot, humid, and not really form in any severe systems that are as organized as we're seeing today until possibly Tuesday, when we start to see another trough getting ready to potentially push eastward into the Central Plains again. So watching that for Tuesday. But today is the best shot we have for organized severe weather for the next few days. So this is what our significant hail model is showing in a couple hours here. So we already have those storms developing, and they're going to push into this environment where we're already seeing those values tick up into those warm oranges, starting to make a run at those red values on our legend there, meaning that the environment is getting better and better for large hail. The issue today is going to be storm mode. All right, so we're going to see those storms pushing through an unstable environment, but can they stay singular? Isn't that always the question? So initially, I think storms are going to produce hail up to baseball size, possibly even larger, particularly with those supercells driving into and out of Fort Stockton here in the next couple of hours. Those look like they could potentially be long track hailers producing some large hail. Now up towards Amarillo and Lubbock, that's the issue we're watching. All right, so the next couple of hours, there's those isolated storms that are continuing to develop west of Lubbock, looking pretty good on radar right there for hail, could potentially produce some large stones with any of those isolated cells tracking through. Those are going to be our long track storms down south. Now as those push east, they get pretty messy pretty fast. Up towards Amarillo, you got a whole cluster of storms working their way through by around 4 p.m. Central, and then a couple that are trying to stay singular as they track south of Lubbock, as they track through Midland, Odessa, but they're starting to get overrun by other storms passing through the area. These stay by themselves, which is why we could get some large hail coming out of them for this afternoon and evening, but everything pushing across I-27 is going to start to get run over pretty quick by all the storms that are blowing up through the area, and then we'll get this complex tracking through yet again into West Texas and Oklahoma by around 9 p.m. with some strong winds. So storm mode is really the question for large hail into today. Those initial singular cells could potentially be producing that large hail and then quickly transitioning to wind with a tornado threat through it all. Then up into the North Plains, for you guys, seeing some storms pushing up into the region by around 3 p.m. And then we got a couple near the Cheyenne area that could get rolling with some large hail. That's going to continue off to the east, maybe seeing a little bit of a pickup in storm coverage across Kansas and Nebraska, eastern Colorado by around 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we'll just pretty much see that continue into the evening and overnight hours and starting to fizzle out as that system weakens off that way into your Saturday morning. So for today's hail forecast, quarters to half dollars through that whole northern region. Large hail is possible, again, with those initial cells, and especially down south where things stay singular. We could potentially see those baseballs get rolling a little bit longer. But if you guys are in Amarillo and Lubbock, Amarillo, low chance for you guys because we got that cluster that looks like it's pretty consistently going to track through your area. And so those clustering storms don't really give us much of a chance of that baseball size. So quarters to half dollars, maybe a ping pong ball for Amarillo. Lubbock and Midland, you guys are kind of on the edge of where we could see that large hail tracking through. Will it make into the city is the question. So leaving both of you guys into a moderate for today. But if you guys are along the Texas-New Mexico state line, that's where we could see those initial cells developing. That's where we could see that baseball-sized hail falling, as well as the area south of Midland, Odessa, near Fort Stockton, and traveling along eastward, tapering off before it hits San Antonio tonight. So that's what we have for hail for the South Plains. Up north, low end for everybody. It's going to be pretty scattered all the way from North Platte down into Dodge City with those hail chances looking like everything's probably going to stay pretty far east of Denver for today in terms of severe hail. Then for wind, that is not to be discounted to tonight either. We could potentially see some damaging gusts in the 70s, I'd say, with that system that's going to be forming through Amarillo and then tracking into, western Oklahoma. So Amarillo all the way into Midland, you guys do have a moderate for wind. And again, it could be pretty high wind. So now's your time, because things are already starting to develop. Now's your time to secure that lawn furniture or anything you have blowing around outside, because you could see some pretty nasty gusts with this storm system. Clovis and Elk City, you guys have a low-end chance to see maybe some residual gusts from that. Clovis, it's now. Now is your chance as those storms are tracking out. North Platte down to Dodge City, once again, pretty scattered, so low-end chance for you guys for high winds into tonight. Then tornadoes. Again, where you get that large chance, or that chance of large hail, that's going to be your tornado risk, as well as with that, complex that's going to start driving off to the east. So particularly Lubbock and Midland, again, You guys are in the moderate. We're wondering if things can track that far east to hit the city. So moderate chance for you guys in Lubbock and Midland, low end for Clovis and Amarillo, but we could potentially see some tornadoes, particularly on the southern end, again, with those long track supercells that we're forecasting today. So be on the lookout. If you guys are anywhere along 27, if you guys are in Midland, Lubbock, Amarillo, Fort Stockton, any of those named cities, watch out today. Stay tuned to our page for potential live coverage and updates, and stay tuned to your weather. Turn on those alerts, in case anything rolls into your part of town. Then tomorrow, things are going to look pretty scattered as they move through. I mean, most of Texas is going to see, scattered showers here and there, parts of Oklahoma as well, and a couple of those could ramp up. Instability tomorrow does not look as impressive as it does today, but there's enough to pop us up a couple of severe hailstones here and there. This is what we have by 2 p.m. with storms initiating, and then as things track down to the south and east, a couple of cells could, kind of get rolling, particularly near San Angelo, where we have the best instability for the day. So watching that kind of roll down to the southeast for tomorrow, through Amarillo again, through Lubbock again, and kind of fizzling out by Sunday morning. So for that, scattered hail chance. Got to keep everybody on the low end for tomorrow, but anywhere in these named cities here from Clovis, possibly into DFW. Again, it's going to be pretty scattered across the board. Can't say that enough, but could potentially see severe hail, with the largest hail sticking down into southwest Texas and far southeastern New Mexico for tomorrow. For wind, same area, same risk. Low end chance for pretty much everybody across the board. And, eastern New Mexico all the way into parts of East Texas could see some gusty winds with any of those storms tracking through. No chance for tornadoes tomorrow at this time. Then into Tropical Depression 2. We have this guy that's starting to form, I guess, through the parts of eastern Gulf of Mexico. And as it continues to kind of bop around the area, it's looking like it's going to track south for now. So Florida shouldn't be heading your way, but again, you could get some high winds and heavy rain just from the outskirts of that system. But right now, doing 35 miles an hour for winds and tracking south very slowly, 5 miles an hour. Going to make a run at Cuba for this evening. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern is when it should be starting to make its way towards the, Cuba island, but should be starting to weaken as it moves that way. Only 30 miles an hour for wind, and it's not moving into any favorable conditions as it tracks down south. We know that hurricanes and tropical storms like to have water temperatures at least 80 degrees, and we're starting to push 80s and up above in the eastern part of the Gulf right now. Up where it was earlier, it's in the upper 70s, so not super conducive. It's moving into a better area for water temperatures into the next couple of days, but it's going to run into some nastier conditions and not really looking like it's favorable down here for anything except water temperatures. But bottom line, things are starting to warm up in the Gulf, so if we get anything else forming into the next few weeks, we could potentially see better chances of development. But for right now, we're just starting to pop up above that threshold of 80 degrees in the Gulf to potentially get us tropical development. So that's what we have for the next couple of days into your weekend. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video, and smash that subscribe button everywhere else. Go ahead and give us a follow on TikTok if you haven't already. We also do live coverage on there now, so you guys can stay tuned on multiple different platforms to make sure you're getting all of your up-to-date weather information. If you want to get in contact with us, you can scan that QR code up above me or click the link in the description to this video. We're going to map every single storm that's severe live. So if you guys want news on where's getting hit with severe hail, wind, tornadoes, hurricanes, the works, you guys can stay tuned to our products, and you guys can get that information. It's really useful. If you want more info on those products, give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And for now, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and we will be back with you on Monday at noon. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.